All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about Concord. Now, we talked about Concord back in another video when the game was released, or showcased, I should say, on this state of play from Sony. Now, obviously, the game got roasted to no end, and rightfully so, because it's just one of those terrible DEI-infested games that are trying to copy a more successful game, even though, I mean, Overwatch is really not that much more successful, but still, they were trying to copy another game and use diversity, equity, inclusion as their way of saying, hey, we're different, right? It's ridiculous, but Concord, now the lead character designer, is showing their true colors, and I'm happy about this because they're all going to start doing this in the month of June. That's why I love June so much. You get to see exactly what people think and feel while they're lying to you for the other 11 months in a year. But apparently he believes that whites must acknowledge their privileged position and that actively they must work for equality, and then also claims that the justice system is white supremacy.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, these are leftist talking points that we've seen run throughout the entire gaming industry. This is honestly nothing new, nothing different. We're so used to this at this point. It's a joke, honestly. But I'm not shocked to see someone saying these things, especially during a month of virtue signaling. This is the time of the year when these losers feel so safe to say whatever the hell they want to say, and they'll pass it off as, oh, I'm just joking or whatever. But these things are coming out to light because you know what ends up happening when you make these DEI games, when you make games that are so obviously made for virtue signaling, people are going to go digging, right? People are going to dig into who's making them. People are going to dig into the company that's making it and publishing it. People are going to go digging. And this is what happens from that digging. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Plays. But of course, before you do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says John, I can't say that last name, the lead character designer for Firewalk Studios, the developer of the recently announced Concord game, is a woke activist that buys into the claim that white people are privileged. Now, hold on. Before we get into the rest of this video, I'm going to make my statement that I've always made about this, right? And I will never change this ideology. So, you know, whatever. You can look at my videos and see through that I'm very consistent on this. If you are a white person that believes in white privilege, you are extremely racist. I don't know who needs to tell you this aside from myself, but you are the epitome of racism. You believe, I want you to understand what you believe, and I want you to process it. You believe that you are inherently better than other people. You are inherently privileged more than other people who do not have white skin simply because you have white skin. You have bought into the belief that because you are white, you are superior, and privilege is a form of superiority. You think you're lucky. Even if you think you're lucky, it doesn't matter. You have a form of superiority because of your white skin. I don't know if you know this, but there is one group in history that is still active to this day that shares the same exact philosophy as you do, and they are called the KKK. So I don't know if maybe you should have a meeting with them and perhaps share ideas, because it seems like you share the same exact mantra in terms of your ideologies. It's so absolutely ridiculous, but let's continue. Following PlayStation showcasing Concord as part of their most recent State of Play video at the end of May, the game's character designs were mocked across the internet. In the gaming subreddit, user, whatever this name is, declared Concord might have the ugliest character designs I have ever seen. Well, you also got to keep in mind, when you're making a game for DEI, every single one of these characters are not meant to be for their male gaze, if you catch my drift. Essentially, that means that they're going to be making characters that are meant to be androgynous. They're either going to be androgynous or ugly or diverse or a mix of all three. That's their goal, right? So in this case, you got a black female completely covered in massive armor. You obviously have this weird fish character. I don't know what the hell this is. Super weird looking. Then you got this black female here with a fro, can't see shit, alien, non-binary female here, no white people to be seen whatsoever. It's just one of those things. Others agreed. One user wrote, yeah, I'm not too keen on the character design either, but I'm also tired of the Pixar-toon look that most team shooters have had since like 2007. Another added, it's like they asked ChatGPT to make Overwatch again, but strip it off all identity. Still, another posted piss yellow, moldy green, wine purple, and blue lipstick. Who the fuck thought this was an acceptable color palette needs to go? Oh my God. I guarantee you that the person who thought that was an acceptable color palette probably shares the same exact color palette, if you catch my drift. I don't know if you probably knew that, but I would suffice to say that's most likely true. But in terms of the actual Overwatch design, right? The whole like super cartoony look is meant to draw young people in, right? That's their client base. That's who they're trying to bring into the game. And they've noticed that with games like World of Warcraft and whatnot, that toon stylized kind of caricature, that is what sells a lot of the time, especially when you're trying to tie virtue signaling to it, right? Adults, for the most part, like real adults, don't want to be virtue signaled to. They're too busy trying to sit down and just enjoy a damn game and just unwind. But these kids, they got nothing better to do, that are looking for oppression where there isn't oppression, they are loving the virtue signaling. So that's what they do. They do the cartoon style, and they also do the virtue signaling to really wrap these kids into the game. It says it was not just on Reddit. On X, user Manga Lawyer wrote, Concord is a new progressive and modern shooter for PC and PlayStation. It features 5 black women, 4 aliens, 3 robots, and 1 white man. It's incredibly diverse and non-heteronormative. Plus, it has pronouns. Are you excited? Does it actually have a white guy? I can't see the white guy. It was funny. People were saying there's no white people, but I guess this is the white guy here on the left. I suppose he doesn't look white. He looks dark-skinned, brown. I don't know. Perhaps there is a white guy, but he's very difficult to see. Former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern also stated that Concord, the new game by Firewalk Studios, is so focused on inclusive teams that they forgot the white guys in their game. Inclusive should not mean racist against white people, but it too often does. See, okay, so Grums is saying there's no white people. Manga Lawyer is saying there is a white guy. I don't know. But to me, it doesn't look like a white guy, but I could be wrong at the end of the day, which is fine. As noted by Grums, not only does Firewalk make it clear they're pushing inclusion as the value of their company, but the company's lead character designer has made it clear he's a woke activist. Back in 2020, he responded to a post by former Bungie lead programmer Peter Kodevsky, who stated thinking that all white people are unconsciously racist is the same as thinking all black people are unconsciously lazy. He also replied, this is an oversimplification. The sentiment being expressed in that whites must acknowledge their privileged position and then actively work for equality. It would be hard and confronting work, but if we don't, we're complicit. And complicity allows systematic racism to persist. Now, again, this last paragraph right here, this is literally the ideology of the KKK. The only difference is that they're trying to use it to virtue signal to non-white people and try to say, don't worry, we know we're racist. We're just working on being anti-racist. We're working at it every single day, and we're going to try to be better. Like, that's really what it is. But at the end of the day, they still think that they are above everyone else and have a privileged position just because they're white. It's such a ridiculous notion. You will never convince me that you are better than me simply because you have the white skin color. That is so stupid. But there are people out there that genuinely believe that, and that is a extremely racist notion to believe. And yet they'll walk around as if they're the most virtuous people in the world, that there's no way in hell they're racist, by thinking that, all because they actively work at it, right? So these are the kind of people that know they're racist. They know that they believe certain things that will make them seem to be racist, but they are constantly virtue signaling and telling people that they are working at it, and that is their way out. That's essentially the way that they're going to try to convince everyone that they're not racist. If you have to constantly work at it to convince people you're not racist, I have a little bit of news for you. You just might be a little racist. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.